Good evening, all. Yesterday, we were actually reading about some important aspects, that is the scope of management, where we are actually left out with two more other important things, that is production management and human resource management. So, the production management. So, these two we were actually reading yesterday. So, production management, that means at the production levels, how actually the management is involved. And here it includes the production planning. That means production planning means how you are going to do the production of a particular product. And control, you must also have a proper control over the production and what kind of a materials you are actually using for the production purpose. And the scientific purchasing means sometimes see for this production management or at the level of production management some kind of a scientific products are being manufactured. Like if you see in the chemistry, you will have these glass bottles or any other kind of a jars which are made up of a glasses and other kind of a scientific like microscopes. These will be there. So for that, the different spare parts will be actually prepared and then they are actually assembled. Another example you have like these computers. For that, every part which is there related to the computer, everything will be manufactured and slowly that will be assembled. So the scientific purchasing and the inventory control, when any kind of a company manufactured product is there, the finished goods are there, how that is being properly controlled and how they are properly stored. Basically, whenever the production is over, whatever the items are there, whatever the products are there, everything will be actually stored in one particular place called as warehouse. Warehouse is also called as a storehouses. So storehouse means generally where the items will be kept. At home also generally we will have some storeroom like that. So in the storeroom we can keep all the materials which are related to the household, or in at this manufacturing levels, the factory will have a storeroom or storehouse, or also called as a warehouse, where all the items will be actually kept. It may be any kind of a raw materials or it may be any kind of a finished products. Then the fourth one is human resource management. The general function of this human resource management department is they will be recruiting, that means they will be selecting suitable and eligible candidates to work into their company, and they will also provide proper placement. Generally, in this case, you can see in the engineering colleges and sometimes in the some degree PG colleges, which are very well famous. Especially, you can see college placements will be there. The college will be providing some kind of a placement cell. So there, some important and very famous companies will be visiting, like Dell or Wipro or any other HCL like that. They'll be visiting and they'll be trying to choose the eligible candidate to work into their company. So there also the proper selection, recruiting and placement of the employees will happen into their company, and that is actually dealt by this HR department. And once the uh, person or once the selected candidate is being recruited into the company, he will directly not work with the employees in the company. First of all, a series or a section or a season of training procedure will be there. Once the employees have been trained well, then slowly they will be developed properly, they will be motivated, and then they will the higher authorities who are there, they will try to see the performances also. During this course of training, lot of development, motivation, skill development, all these things will be provided to the candidates, eligible candidates, and the company superior and the HR department will also see that out of that 30 employees, for example 30 employees have been selected and they are have been going through this training program, the manager or the HR department will actually check that who is that eligible candidate who is having a very good performances. Frequently some kind of a small projects will be also work will be also given to them, and it is one kind of a performance appraisal. So who is actually doing the work very nicely. It is not directly giving him the seat into the company. It is a training season. Once the person is able to do the work, then from them again the recruitment will go on, and then some 5 to 6 candidates will be selected. And here the workers participation, that means the other employees who are actually working in the company, they will be also going through all these kind of a work. Every day they will be doing the work. The HR department's special work is that he has to recruit the suitable employee who will be very skillful for their company, who can get profit to their company. This is the second one, that is functional area of a management. Third is interdisciplinary approach. So interdisciplinary is also called as a multidisciplinary. So what is this disciplinary? Disciplinary means a combination of different subjects. Okay, a combination of a different subjects. So interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary, that means different kinds of a subject with a project or with a subject of matter. For example, we will have different kinds of disciplines. Generally, we will have the social sciences, psychology, sociology, engineering, economics. Then you will have this commerce, mathematics. What are these? All these are interdisciplinary subject of matter in case of education. These are interdisciplinary subject of matter in the education system. So these subjects which are there, each and every subject will have their own core and own style of doing the management. In mathematics, the higher department will have their own style of doing the management. And in economics, when this economics is, you see, in case of educational institutions, generally a suitable HOD, that means department head, will be there in every field. The head of the department will be there, and in each kind of this disciplines, a correct understanding of the management principles and practices are being followed, which will approach the interdisciplinary subject of matter. Then fourth comes universal phenomenon. The word universal means the one which is, or anything which is applicable to all. Anything which is applicable to each and every one. It is called universal. And phenomenon means anything which exists. Anything which exists. Generally, phenomenon word we generally see in the sciences. In the scientific fields, you can see the word phenomenon. So here, something that is being observed to occur or to exist is called as phenomenon. So the management is also a universal phenomenon. Is it or not? Every day, this management you can see. Even in your life you can see, wherever you go, in the schools, colleges, the word management with the universal phenomenon you can see everywhere. So that is nothing but universal phenomenon in management. So that's why management is a universal phenomenon. Or it is also a process which is concerned with the business understanding also. And not only in this business understanding, you can see this universal word or universal phenomenon in the political, religious, in the other kind of a educational institute also. In fact, the management is present wherever there is actually any kind of a human activity. Wherever the human activity is there, definitely this word universal phenomenon will exist. So all these are actually the four different kinds of scope of management. First being the subject matter of management, second being the functional area of management where you have financial management, marketing management, production management, human resource management, and third is interdisciplinary approach, and fourth is universal phenomenon. Let's move to the next topic, the principles of management. That means you need to know about Henry Fayol's principle of management. He has actually devised 14 different kinds of a principle. So we generally be having 14 different kinds of a principles which are also called as a Henry Fayol's principle. These 14 principles are very important principles. So the major credit of developing the main part of principles of management generally goes to this person, Henry Fayol, and he had actually put forward this 14 different kinds of a principles in this management section. And not only in this management section, this principle, the 14 different principles which are there, these are also applicable in the different disciplinary approaches. That means in different subjects also you can follow this Fayol's principles. So like being mathematics or economics, in the educational institutes, everywhere you can apply this principle. So you cannot say that these principles are applicable only to this management. This set of 14 principles of management are applicable in the different areas of a business and also in the different areas of a interdisciplinary sciences or approaches. So we see one by one. The first is division of work. Division of work. This word or this heading is very simple. What is division of work means? Dividing the work among yourself. Sometimes at home we see when guests are coming, what you will do? Do only one person, your mother alone will do each and everything, cooking and remaining things? No, your father, your brother or your sister, someone else, whoever are there, everybody will come and join with your mother and you will plan and then you will do your work by dividing. Your mother cannot do each and every work. So what you are doing, since your guests are coming, you will divide your work so that what will happen, the work will become easy. Second thing, it will not become a burden. Third thing, within a short span of a time, you will be able to complete it. So all these are included in the division of work. So it is very important principle of management which is put forward by this Henry. And according to this principle, each and every activity of an organization should be very clearly allocated among the employee. So proper allocation of a work So proper allocation of a work. Allocation means allotting. Allotting or giving a work among the workers of a organization is very very important. That means there must be division of a work among the employees who are actually working, and whatever work they are actually giving, the work must be given according to their qualification, their skills, their aptitude. So the work must be given according to their qualification, skills, and the aptitude. One more you can add it. You can add it one more word, that is being ability or capability. If all these things, four things are there in the employee, definitely he will be given with the work. But first of all, the manager has to see what is his qualification, then what are his skills, his aptitude, his working nature, how eligible he is, and capability, whether he can do or not. So to particular person, particular work must be given. They have to check also his capability, and then they have to divide it, and the manager has to give. So that what will happen, every employee can easily understand the task, that means the goal of a company or the work, and give their 100% performance or 100% of a contribution for the achievement of a organizational goal. So that's why checking and selecting suitable candidate is also very very important in case of a division of a work. Another such example we can see, like when you are about to buy any kind of a new house, or when you wanted to construct a new house, that time what you will check for, you will select the architect for proper construction. That means how you wanted to build your house, new house. Then civil contractor you will select, labor, welder, plumbers will be there, painters will be there. That means you are actually choosing appropriate person to give the appropriate work. If you select the painter and you give the work of a contractor, civil contractor, will he be able to do? No. To painter, you have to give the work of painting. For the labors, you have to give the what actually is the labor work. So to suitable person, suitable work must be given. And as a result, what will happen? They will be paying good contribution for the construction of the house. Then second is the authority and responsibility. Authority and responsibility. The word authority and responsibility are very very important in the every field, be in the business management or in any kind of a scientific field, or at home also. See, at home, who is having the authority and responsibility? The authority goes to father or mother. Responsibility also goes to father or mother. Why we are giving that authority and responsibility to them? Because they are elders in your family, and after your parent, that authority and responsibility will come to your elder sister, elder sister or elder brother, like that. So the elders are giving this authority and responsibility. Authority means giving everything into their hands. They are actually in that particular place for anything, and they are having the responsibility. So here, this authority and responsibility, both of these words are interdependent, and they are having a very close relationship with each other. And in the section of this management, if you see, or in the companies, you can see